Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. This is Relationship Wednesday, and remember, our main topic for the day is the things that I should know before I say I do. You can use the hashtag #KTNLifeandStyle. Let us know what you think you should know, and we're going to demystify, okay? Because we have our panelists here and we have experts on the show today. With Linda, the psychologist, she was here before, and we were talking about our premarital classes and all. But right about now, we've been joined by Pastor Hinga, John Hinga. And, I mean, first of all, he's a pastor, so you can imagine, yeah? So, and of course, my lovely co-host.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, welcome back. So, first of all, snappy suit. I love it.
Oh, yes.
Yes, you look lovely this morning, yeah?
So, how do I put it? All applause to my wife.
Oh, nice. Cute. You're doing a good job.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
So before we went on a break, we were talking about the things that we should know before we say I do, before we get into marriage. And our lovely psychologist today, Linda, was just telling us about the things that we probably should know. And she was trying to highlight the things that normally happen in the premarital classes.
Yeah.
So maybe you can just go on and give us those highlights.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the first and most important, as I had mentioned earlier, is just to find out if this person is self-aware.
Yeah.
Okay. If they know themselves, and if they do now, do they know the other person that they're going to get married to? Okay.
Yeah.
The other most important thing is to probably look and talk about issues that are potential conflict areas. These are issues like sex, for example. What's your definition? What's your take on sexuality? All that. We talk about finances.
Yeah.
Okay. We talk about in-laws. We talk about parenting. Are we complete as just the two of us? Do we want to have children? How many do we want to have? Supposing we cannot have children.
Right.
What do we do?
What do we do?
Yeah.
So in those classes, you're able to highlight on issues that are likely to be conflict areas in your relationship. And then how will you be handling those conflicts when they come up?
Right.
You get?
Yeah, yeah.
And there are many other areas
Yeah.
that you can think of that touches on this marital relationship. Okay. What is love?
Definitely.
Yes,
So
and
you're
how
in
do you
love.
see it? Do you see it differently with your partner? Because sometimes I feel like people have different understandings of what love is and you're dating each other.
Do we even know what love
What
is?
love
Right.
is, yeah.
Because we think it's all this physical, oh, you're beautiful, you're handsome, and you think it ends there. There's more to it. There's the intimacy, there's the closeness, there's the commitment that this person I'm getting married to, I'm committing, I'm making a decision that I will be with this person lifelong.
Definitely.
You get?
Yeah.
So there are many important issues that will be addressed in those classes, so that at the end of it all, you are looking at, is this a relationship that is likely to work, or do we need to call it off before we go further?
Right.
Are we compatible?
But you know, the thing is, I'm just listening to her talk and I'm thinking, by the time we're actually going for the premarital classes, it's the one of tumeamua, we are about to get married.
Yeah.
You know, so it's the one of, when you say, are we cool to go on or not? I'm like, dude, we spent quite some time together. We kind of don't have a choice, you know, really.
Yes.
But I liked what she said about you get to talk about physical intimacy. And the thing is, especially you being a pastor, there is one thing that you advocate for.
Yeah.
Wait until marriage before
Yeah.
you get physically intimate.
Right.
So then how, again, do you know for sure that you're compatible when it comes to that area if you're
Until
not going
you're
to
married.
engage before marriage? Isn't that just contributing to divorce?
No.
Now you went 0 to 100. Divorce.
No, I'll definitely say no. Why? Because by the time you're getting to make that lifelong decision, that this is a person you want to spend the whole, the rest of your life with, it's more about, the person more than, those things that come with a person. It's about getting to know who she is. It's about getting to know, how much happy she makes you be. It's about getting to know, how much you enjoy being with her. You see, for me, the aspect of being in love with someone goes beyond being physical with that person. In fact, being physical with that person is secondary to the point where you're actually in love with that particular person. And so by the time you're getting to the place where you're making the decision that I want to spend the rest of my life with this particular person, it's coming from your heart. It's not coming from your mind or your flesh or your body, that is. It's a place where, you know, in accordance to how much I know Scripture and what the Word of God says, it says that, you know, God is love. So by the time you're falling in love with someone, it's coming from your heart. It's a decision that you're saying, this person I love. Even when I'm pissed off with this person, you know, when you're pissed off with someone, let me tell you for real, I've been married for 7 years, and I can tell you for free that it's not entirely just about being physical with that person. There are moments where you're pissed off with each other, you don't want to see each other.
Yeah.
But that does, you know, does that then take away the point that I don't want to be with you anymore? Because now that I'm pissed off with you, I can't touch you. Sikutaki tena. No, that's a lie. You know, it's about the fact that I love you beyond the fact that even when I'm pissed off with you, I still want to be with you.
Yeah.
I love you to the point. I love you to the point where, you know, even when, like she brought up a point where she said, you know, you can get to a place, God forbid, you don't have kids. You know, or it takes time for you to get kids. So does that mean that I don't love you anymore? You see, it's about the person more than the things that you know, you want to get. By the time you're saying, I want to sleep with you, so I love you, that's selfishness.
Yeah.
That's thinking about yourself. You're not even thinking about the other person at that particular point.
Yeah.
I know of a couple who, you know, they've stayed for about now, I think it's going to 10 years, and they haven't gotten kids. And if you meet them, you can't tell that they are, you know, they haven't gotten kids. They're so much in love. So love is about the other person. Love is about what you're giving to the other person in as much as what you're getting from that person. Love is about the godliness that you've included in your relationship, and so much more than physicality.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Within the church setting, like we talked about with the premarital classes, have you had experience, like she was saying, you do these classes, have you had experience with couples actually coming and starting to run through the classes and realizing, hey, we are not compatible, let's actually not do this?
Okay, I serve at River of God Church. It's a Kenya Assemblies of God Church in Parklands, and I'm the youth pastor there. But for the time that I have served there, I haven't encountered any couple who went through the program or were in the program and decided along the way they don't want to go through it.
Okay.
I haven't for the time that I've been there, I haven't.
Because I'd want to think the program is for you and not against your relationship.
Yes. Yes.
I want to go back a little bit on this matters physical. I mean, we will talk about the most important things for you. As you were saying, there are things you can compromise on, the bare minimums, and there are others that you feel, this one I cannot. You get? And when we talk about the physical, we have to be realistic, you know, because sex is very important in marriage. Think of this young lady who gets married in church. It's okay, you can wait. And I'm not telling people to have sex. You can wait. But there has to be a lot of honesty and trust in relationships as we engage. Because this lady gets married in church, a virgin, and then on the night of their wedding, she finds out the guy doesn't have maybe a penis, or it's very small, and they cannot even consummate the marriage. And then?
Yeah, so what happens now?
So in matters physical, as we are talking about compatibility, take the step. Okay, as we interact, you know, there is, as Pastor John will tell you, we are human, and as we interact, if you're with this person that you're in love with, you know, there are those physical reactions. You don't have to do it. Self-control is there, but you can talk about, you know, what are the emotions, what are the physical reactions. If you really need to see a doctor to, you know, get to know exactly every single detail that is important in this marriage, do not leave it out, and especially the most important things. Okay, so if finances are important, talk about it now. If sex is important, talk about it now. It's not everything, but if it's important, talk about it now. If children are important, talk about it now.
Definitely. I love how they put that into perspective, because God, the youth are welding out here. I'm going to tell you that for sure, you know. And he would relate. I mean, he's the pastor for the youth. He would understand that better. And again, being the pastor for the youth, there is this thing about the youth nowadays, and in our generation especially, people are getting more scared of marriages. Again, maybe because of how they've seen people. Okay, I'll give a good example. So there's this musician called Conscience, He's very well known. I'm sure you've heard of him. Is he coming or he already came?
You know something? We're going to talk about
We're going to talk about that later. So here's the thing, He dated his girlfriend for 6 years.
Yes.
And then eventually decided to get married. And after 2 years, they got divorced. So it's that one of young people have this mentality now and this notion that we're good dating. Let's just leave it at that, because apparently the moment we get into marriage, they just get that it's just gonna all the problems just come. So is it that the name just carries these problems? Like, what happens the moment you say I do?
You see, the institution of marriage, the one who originated it was actually God. It's God who came up with the institution of marriage. By the time, you know, he created Adam and you know, decided that, you know, Adam is not good being alone, and created a chick for her called Eve. And at the point where he created the chick for her, Adam at that particular point had been exposed to everything else that God had created for him. But by the time he woke up and saw the chick, he went like, what? As in, God, let me tell you.
What was missing?
This is it. This is it for me. And see, we are living in a generation where it's you know, it's about the quick fix gratification.
Oh, definitely.
Rather than the commitment. Rather than the long haul. And the truth of the matter is this. By the time you're getting to a place, you know, I don't even want to put into perspective what happened to Conscience, but by the time you're getting into, you know, into a relationship and then get into marriage, and then for the quickest time in it, or the shortest time in it for that point, you know, for that matter, you decide you don't want to be in this anymore, then, you know, that kind of brings out the lack of commitment from the word go. Why I say that is because our senior pastor says something that is, you know, I've heard him say over and over again. And he says that marriage is not for the weak. In fact, marriage is not for the cowards. By the time you're getting into a relationship with someone who you've literally never known for the rest of, you know, for the better part of your life. But you're deciding, you know what, I want to make this risk and share the rest of my life with you. That takes a lot of courage. Because by the time you're getting into a relationship with that person, I kid you not, you will meet things, she will say things, he will do things that will make you feel like, I want to get out of this today. You know, today. But by the time you're saying, you know what, I will hold on, I will hang on to it, that takes courage. The other perspective is faith. The one who originated, the one who has the, you know, the mastercraft of what marriage is God. So you have to get to the place where you decide, you know what, God, I have to be with you in this relationship. If it's just me and her alone, God, tutamalizana. But by the time you get into the place where you're saying, I want to be with her, but God, I also need you to be a part of this. You see, we can never get to the place where we take God out of the picture. We can never get to the place where we take God out of life in general. By the time you woke up this morning, who knew that you'd wake up? You didn't know. You woke up by the virtue of, I'm going to sleep, hope, you know, I'll wake up in the morning. But you never know whether you'll actually make it to morning. It takes God. And so relationship, on the other, you know, in itself, takes God for it to work. So you have to get to the place where by the time you're making the commitment, you're also telling God, you know what, by the time I'm getting into this, I need you. And that's why, you know, you're actually advised to go through the Prima classes in, you know, so that you get to understand, okay, these are the things that you'll encounter. These are the things that you'll face, and these are the ways you can deal with those things. Prima classes really helped my wife and I. Because by the time we're getting into marriage, there are things that were brought up in the Prima classes, like in-laws for that matter, like in-laws. There are things that were brought up, and you know, it made me go, you know what, this we need to talk about. Just because nimeiona hivi, but this we really need to talk about. And by the time we're getting out of those classes, we're like, okay, so what do we do from here? You know, and there are points where, when it comes to in-laws, I remember I tell her, you know what, it's about you and I. you know, in-laws will come into the picture. They'll definitely come into the picture.
Yeah.
Because you have
All
your
the
own family,
time.
and I have my own
Yeah,
family.
yeah.
So they'll definitely come into the picture. But we have to make, from today, from now,
You
before
guys
we
are
actually
a
make it
team.
to the, you know, before we enter into marriage, we have to make that decision today, that this is a team,
Yeah.
and nothing will come in between.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, there are moments where they have come in between.
Yeah.
But does that mean that I don't want to be with my wife anymore? No, you just
No.
call her, sit down, tell her, okay, your sister did this and it made me feel bad. And she'd tell me, your mom did this and it made me feel bad. And when we can talk about it, we talk about
That's
it.
friendship
You know,
now.
yeah.
Yes. And they always say you should be friends
Oh
first.
yeah,
That's
oh yeah,
true,
definitely.
yeah.
You have
Sure.
to be friends.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying, I'm not here to tell you, oh, marriage is
It's
sweet,
amazing.
it's
As long as you
beautiful.
pray every morning,
You know?
evening, and afternoon, all shall be
good.
well.
You know, pray 3 times,
Yeah.
skip a meal, you know, all those are good. But you have to get to the place where you understand, by the time I'm committing
Yeah.
into this marriage,
There'll be
there will
challenges,
be
but
challenges, but I've committed,
Right,
you
yeah.
know. And as time goes by, other people are added into it. Like now, you know, when I'm blessed with a baby girl, and she's called Asante. And by the
shout out to Asante.
shout out to Asante. I know
She's in school.
Oh yeah, she's in school,
Yeah.
definitely. But she'll definitely watch it later. You know, and by the time Asante came into the picture, it solidified our relationship even the more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we're like, okay, now it's not just about you and I.
True.
Now she's in, you know, we have a beautiful girl who's a part of us, and we can't allow her to go through, you know, why should, because of our issues, why should we
Yeah,
hurt her?
let
So
her suffer.
it made us become even more closer.
Yeah.
Deal with issues even better, you know, and just make sure that by the time we're going through it together.
I heard somebody, it's a quote even, I'm sure you can find the clip. It's the celebrity that is an actor in the States. It's called Ryan Reynolds. So Ryan Reynolds is married to another actress called Blake Lively, and he was being talked, he was doing an interview right after he was a father for the first time. And he was like, when I first met my wife and we fell in love and we were married, I loved her so much, I was like, I would take a bullet for this woman until they got a child together. And now he's like, I would put my wife in front of that bullet for this child. And it like completely changes the game within marriage. But I have a theory, and my theory is not based on any science or statistics. It is Susan's theory. But now I want to ask you guys about it. I think that the reason that a lot of young marriages might be having challenges is because people are just simply getting married too young. So you talked about instant gratification, and I think if you have grown up like that, my age group, you've grown up in the age of the internet, you've grown up in the age of click and receive, then you respond that way to a lot of things. You find even we're struggling in our careers, people are learning to commit and deal with difficult, you know, co-workers or bosses or difficult, challenging situations because we just quit. We don't like it.
That's true.
So now over time, people are learning, no, it takes perseverance, it takes you showing you can do the work and committing. Which is the same thing with relationships and with marriage. And I'm just kind of like, maybe we're just like getting into it too early. Is that something that's, am I right? Or is that totally made up and Susan just needs to take several seats?
Well, I think I would need to ask, does maturity come with age?
I doubt it. Maybe.
I don't know,
But
there's
doubt
some
it.
things you just have
Yeah.
to have gone through, because you're talking about being self-aware, and I think there's a lot of people who are 21 who don't know who they are, but so are some people who are 25 and so are some people who are 30.
And some are 18 and they know who they are.
Exactly.
That's the thing,
That's
yeah.
Are you
So-
mature? Are you independent? Can you make decisions? Okay. Commitment, as he says, is very, very important.
Yeah.
And the other reason is, I wanted to add to that, is because we get into marriage with very unrealistic expectations.
True.
And dating is all nice. We go out, have coffee,
Yeah.
and no big issues,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah.
And especially if we have not talked about the most important issues, then we get married and start living together, and reality sets in. Honeymoon is over.
Yeah.
Real issues. We have to decide about career, about finances now. Initially, maybe you were paying for our dates and wherever we were going.
Yeah.
Maybe we had time to spend with each other. Now there's so much that we have to deal with on the table.
Yeah, because you don't know how somebody used to save. Them, they were just paying for the dates, having a good time next time, going on holiday.
You go on holiday.
But you don't know maybe how this money is being made or how they save or how they invest.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's true.
So the realistic expectations of marriage, very, very important.
You know, I really want to know, because again, there is the idea of having maybe good expectations and bad expectations. For me, at least, there is. It's the one of, there are things, honestly, I would expect you to know. If, these really simple things, if I could sacrifice a cup of tea for you, I'd expect you to do the same, honestly. It's these small things, because again, people would say, don't have expectations, but when I think about it, I feel like there's a realm where there are expectations that are necessary, and there are those ones where, by the way, just don't even, you know.
Oh, you need to have a conversation.
You need to have a conversation even before,
you
know. So here's the thing, having those expectations and whatnot, and you've said marriage is not all sweet and whatever, I just want to understand, what are the good things in marriage? I feel like people have made it like this monster. I'm like, I have to talk about it. What are the good things about being in a marriage?
Yeah. Well, for me, there are a lot of good things. A lot of good things that you can get out of marriage. You know, just the mere fact that you have a friend who's constantly with you through a lot of the things that you go through in life. That in itself is a beautiful thing. Then number two, just someone who, you know, can support who you are. I just believe if you, you know, if you have someone who you're both committed to each other, you know, she will be there for you to support you through the things that you desire to do in life, you desire to go through in life, and vice versa. You know, you also will support that person in the things that, you know, they endeavor to do. Just the aspect of also having someone who loves you is a beautiful thing in nature. Is a beautiful thing in life. Just someone who you know, this is a person who, you know, thinks good things about me, thinks highly about me. Marriage is also a place where you can grow together. In terms of investment, you know, there's a saying that says, two are better than one. You can actually really, most of the people who've become successful in life, you know, they've had someone totally supporting them in whatever they were doing, either individually or even together, but mostly together. And they've really grown to become, you know, great households. Look at someone like T.D. Jakes, who's actually, I think, on the way, coming to do a conference. And, you know, he's someone who, by the time he was starting off to do his ministry, he was someone, you know, he was a skinny guy, you know, with a lot of faith, trusting the Lord that, you know, that he'll become, you know, something someday. But when he met his wife, according to his testimony, his wife really encouraged him to become the best that he can become.
So cute.
By the time I met let me talk about myself. By the time I met my wife, I was, like she said, investment was nothing. Wewe nipate pesa kula leo. Za kesho zitakuja, you know? But when I met my wife, I met someone who told me, you know what, you need to chill out first of all, brother. You need to chill out. We need to think about so many things. And she made me get to the place where I started thinking about a bigger picture about my life. You know, what do I want to become tomorrow? What do I want to, you know, what do I want to have tomorrow? If I one day get kids, what will I bless my kids with? You know, and she made me get into investment. I remember there's a point in time when I was single, I literally used to chill in Tao up until a time I know my landlord is asleep, so that I can get into the house. I haven't paid for like 3 months. And the guy is threatening.
It's like, you need to go out now.
And I bless the Lord because, you know, by the time I met my wife, and I remember I told her when we were dating, I remember I told her, when we get married, we'll rent a place. And she told me, why? Back at your place, back at home, don't you have those 2 cribs, small cribs where, you know, okay, when you're a man, you're evicted from your parents' house and you go to that crib. And why don't we move into that? It will be enough for us. And I was like, what? And you'll agree to live with me. And it was a single room. with a bathroom and a toilet, just that.
Yeah.
And we lived there for about 2 years, and you know, slowly by slowly I started saving, and now we have our own home.
Yeah.
You know, and so there's so many good things that come out of marriage.
Yeah.
And the world has gotten to the place where it has portrayed marriage as one of the most evil, negative things in the world. Yet it is one of the most beautiful institutions that you can ever be a part of. One of the most sweet institutions that you can ever be a part of. You know, leave alone the fact that yes, you'll have challenges, yes, you'll disagree once in a while. But just the mere fact that you can, you know, you can share so much with this human being, this other human being. And then including to that, you can be blessed with even more human beings. And it's a beautiful thing.
Well, thank you so much.
I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward.
I'm ready to be married now. Anyway, guys, we have overrun. We got really excited. We're going to take a quick, short break. Big, huge thank you to Pastor John and to Linda. We'll be right back.